Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Amazons.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Amazons tonight. On the program today, we shall be talking or discussing husband killers and violent wives. My name is Aisha Falude. My co-anchor, Delectable Bimbo Thomas.
Thank you so much, Aisha.
Statistics reveal that 1 in every 4 Nigerian women suffer domestic abuse. Researchers have blamed this on the male-dominated African social setting. But in recent times, the tables seem to be turning. Lagos State, for example, recorded 138 cases of violence against men between May 2017 and March of 2018.
We may not readily have a verifiable statistics of some women who have become abusers themselves. But what we do know is that our country is increasing in an alarming rate of women who kill their husbands. And these have sadly led to gruesome murder of husbands in the hands of their own wives.
The kitchen knife, which is meant to be for butchering meat in the kitchen, has suddenly turned to become murder weapons in the hands of women, taking the lives of their husbands, or in some cases, causing untold bodily harm on the men. Sadly, this is what we are discussing today on the Amazons. Husband killers and violent wives.
Violent wives.
We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the Amazons, where today we are sadly discussing wives who kill their husbands, or wives who are violent towards their spouses or their partners. It is a trend that is alarmingly increasing in number in Nigeria, and it is also sadly that women who are known to be motherly, who are known to be nurturing, who are meant to protect,
Soft in nature. Even.
yes, are now the ones turning, exhibiting this kind of a behavior that has irreparable repercussions.
And what I feel is, what could be the factors responsible for this act? Because I know that there must have been something strongly for this. In other words, women shouldn't be seen, taking it back or the table turning on the side of women doing that, no matter how, I feel that it's highly traumatic and it should be looked into. And I'm sure that
the most, it's disturbing really to find women exhibiting this kind of pattern in behavior, pattern that can take life. Some women plan it, some act on spontaneity, some they just lose it. But no excuse, no reason really is strong enough for you to take another one's life in a violent manner. Factors are not excusable. We know, yes, there's more pressure on the family now. There's both economically, financially, emotionally.
All sorts.
There's the women are under a lot of stress that has also, that is, they are encouraged now to take up habits and vices and, looking for some kind of outlet to let out, the stress and the anger that they feel in them, and that their fuse is now become very short. So anything can just trigger it. The way a woman nurtures, the same intensity is also, from what we see now, is the same intensity that she can, be violent when she flips. And we really must begin to find out the cause.
But I feel that just the same way they would advise a woman to flip when a man tries to, reach out for weapons, or the anger goes out, or discussions goes very, very high. I think, you would have noticed in your woman what actions or how he or she is very, very, slow or high to pick up anger and, in other words, she just tends to do something very nasty.
We will be back talking because we have some guests joining us because this discussion cannot be limited to Bimbo and I. We must have input of why the women are now becoming violent against their spouses, their partners, and their husbands after the break.
Women killing their husbands or being extremely violent with their husbands is not new. It's just that the pattern is different now. I'm telling you the truth. Way back, grandmothers, our old mothers, they were used to the native methods. Rather than them killing, they can just put poison in this man's food and this man will just die and go.
It is not new. It is just that the social media has made the world a small place and has made information available.
Thank you very much for joining us on Amazons tonight. We are discussing, sadly, I keep saying, wives who kill their husbands and wives who are violent towards their partners. And we have guests joining us. Adetun Lanre Adeniyi is a child and mother rights activist, and she's also founder Feed a Child, an NGO. Thank you so much, Lanre Adeniyi Adetun, for joining us. And also we have John Chukwuka, a photographer, a husband, a father, I believe. He's also joining us on the topic.
3 times over and a grandfather.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you
very much, Jude and Adetun, for joining us. This first question really is for Adetun. I mean, as concerned mothers, as Nigerians, we are worried that, behavior that used to be alien to women is now prevalent amongst women. Women killing husbands, women being violent towards their partners. What would you think is bringing out these traits in women now?
Thank you, Madam Aisha. Basically, for me, I feel something that is being suppressed in other parts of the country is now having a high number of increase in our own system. And then one of the reasons why this is happening for me, I think, is exposure. Don't forget, basically in the environment where we are in Nigeria, whatever happens in this country, whether good or bad, is always related to our culture, our religion, and our system. The 3 things. So if women in Nigeria are beginning to see now that they want to become violent, it's not a proper thing to do. But you should also consider that they've weighed different options and they've seen that their protection, their rights, their interest is not secured in any way. Number one, the system, the government does not protect their rights. There's nowhere for them to run to. So most of these things are women with consecrated mind. They keep boiling and boiling and boiling over this issue. And before you know it, they look at the last option, the last resort for them to do is just to explode. So when they want to explode, what happens is they resort to danger. Because they basically don't even have people to talk to. Way back those days, when our own mothers and our own grandmothers were in marriages that were bad, violent, unromantic, unfinancially supported, they didn't have anything to do. They would just look at it and say, well, I love your father, and your father is paying school fees, and they just keep it at that and carry it as their burden, and they see it as a cross, the price they have to pay, being married to the wrong person or finding themselves in wrong relationships. But these days, excuse me, there's exposure everywhere. People watch TV, they see what is happening in other parts of the country, and they feel that, oh, okay, let's see. So women are becoming more outspoken these days. So now, it's just like when their eyes are clearly open, sometimes it opens to the negative side. And sometimes it opens up to the positive side. So if you see some people who can think outside the box, what they do is they take a walk. But some people will say, you die here, I die here. You get what I'm saying? Then they say, okay, let's end it all here. So what resorts to it is violence.
But I feel that still, he's the man, and I'm going to throw my question to him before I get to what you said.
Okay.
I want to know your view on the increase of the violence of wives and mothers of husbands.
As a child, I had seen it. As a child, I am over 50, heading 60. I've seen it as a child where a neighbor's wife badgers and beats him. So it is not something new. It is
Did
just...
you say beats him?
Beat him.
Yeah, but we are talking
Baja.
now.
No, no,
it's-
I'm
About
talking
the
about
extreme.
Yeah.
The extreme, the woman
Okay.
beating up the man.
That's what you've seen.
Yeah,
growing
that's
up.
what I've seen. It is not new. It is just that the social media has made the world a small place and has made information available, and neighbors and everybody can blow up such information, and it becomes a global thing.
Yeah.
Now, Yorubas have an adage. They say, "Kì í ṣe ẹrù orí amókan lọ́wọ́, ẹsẹ̀ ni, ẹsẹ̀ ni." It is not the basket on somebody with a knock knee that is bent. It is the leg that has caused the load on the head to tilt. So why are women responding the way they are responding? A lot of things are responsible, a lot, from economic to passing the bulk. Women don't used to share in responsibilities in the home. The basic thing was that a man provides for his home. But these days, there is a lot of gap where strange teachings can come into the home. Strange philosophies can be introduced to these children, and they grow with it. Not only at their growing up stage, their parents are also too busy to communicate with them at their teenage years. That is when their parents are consolidating, looking for lands and all of that, looking for how to consolidate in their offices, in their political parties, in their clubs and all of that. They leave these children to strange philosophies too. So they grow up with their peers who have this funny training. And before you know it, these children become what you do not expect them to become.
Okay, so for Adetong, you see, we say this pattern, behavioral pattern, is strange and alien to women.
Let me cut you there.
Yeah.
The irony of it is this is not strange. I tell you, way back those days, they had diplomatic ways of doing it.
Of resolving it.
You see people killing
violence now.
You have not even let me finish the point I'm trying to make. You see, our mothers would say, like you said, see, it's my husband. He's your father. I'm here for you. Everything that is going on, it's bearable because of you.
Children.
So they have also carried that message to the children. You have to bear it. It is whatever you are going through, that is what marriage is about. For better, for worse. It is forever. Whereas this person is going through a lot emotionally. Is boiling. The things are piling up. She probably now she's suffering some kind of mental disturbance. She's suffering some kind of depression that we also shy away from in this part of the society. That in Nigeria there's no depression. There's nothing called as depression. She needs help, and then she can't get it, and then she just has to resolve this matter by herself. I think this is the point I'm trying to make. That this can also be the pattern that we now see play out when they stab their husbands or cause them bodily harm.
Like I was going to say, the truth of the matter is women killing their husbands or being extremely violent with their husbands is not new. It's just that the pattern is different now. I'm telling you the truth. Way back, grandmothers, our old mothers, they were used to the native methods. Rather than them killing, they can just put poison in this man's food and this man will just die and go. You get what I'm trying to say? But now, because of technology, we're moving with technology. We have to understand that global warming is in the face of everybody. We're moving with technology, so the positive and the negative is increasing on both sides. Now, if you are saying that it's something that they're used to, you have to understand that when women are overbearing and they cannot talk or they cannot express, I say it not because I'm supporting women because I am a woman now, because sometimes you have to put yourself in the other party's shoes. Complex in men can also push women to resort to this, because there are some men who are not even ready to sit down to have a conversation with their wives.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Look at the people they call the short people, for example. Would you want to tell your husband he's not romantic enough? Then he's going to come say, oh, okay, you're having sex with somebody else. You're doing this, infidelity is setting. Instead of him to take a step back and check himself and say, okay, baby, you know what? You're right with what you said. How many men and women do sex ratings after sex? They don't even do all those things. And these women will get frustrated. Yes.
You see, no nothing can justify taking a life,
Nothing.
whether that of a man
Or of
or
a
a woman. Weigh the options. Is it worth it? Whether for property or for you kill your husband, you go to jail. You know, the husband is dead, the children have become fatherless, you have become
Bad
a widow,
blood
and then
between
you go
families,
to jail. So
eternally.
You won't even be happy at the end.
what was it all for? And of course, we are taking a break on the Amazons. We'll be back shortly. Remember, the topic is women who kill
Husband
their
kill,
husbands and women who are violent towards their partners. After the break.
The moment a person cannot identify his or her own abilities, then the person is not mentally well.
Now, with respect to the law, the position of the law is clear. Everybody knows it. The murderer knows it, that when you kill, the result is death.
Welcome back to the Amazons. Today on the show, we have been discussing, sadly, husband killers and violent wives. Wives who have settled scores with their husband by outrightly just snuffing life out of their husbands violently, or just causing them irreparable bodily harm that have very high consequence and repercussion. We have two guests joining us. Joe Eboigbe is legal practitioner. Welcome to Amazons, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
And then Priscilla Benjamin Olaoye. She is a mental health expert. So I'll just start. I'll start with Priscilla. Mental health, really, for me, for any woman who has gone to the extent of killing her partner or really causing serious bodily injury on their husband, must have some kind of mental disturbance for you to conceive the idea, plan it, and carry it to, execute it.
Usually we do not make a diagnosis with a symptom or with a behavior. We usually would have, what we call the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. We use the DSM-5 now to make a diagnosis. To make a diagnosis, you have to go through certain criteria. So we cannot, because of that single behavior, say that that person already has mental illness. However, any human being who is unable to deal with certain emotions definitely have some underlying challenges. There's a very thin line between sanity and insanity. And you see, also because so many people see mental illness as, when we say mental illness, the first picture that comes to someone's mind is someone who stripped himself naked, or someone, think of someone in chains. But really, we don't understand the concept of mental wellness. So when we say mental wellness, actually we say that WHO has said that there has to be 4 criteria that has to be met for anyone to be mentally well. First of all, you must be able to recognize your abilities, what you are able to do as a person. You talk to certain people, they say, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. The moment a person cannot identify his or her own abilities, then the person is not mentally well. Secondly, the person must be able to cope with the normal stresses of life. So normal stresses of life, living in Lagos, traffic, being broke, losing a loved one, and all of that. So you see, this normal stress of life is one of the challenges which we're talking about based on today's topic. Whatever the reason is for someone to face a challenge, some people would, I've read so many stories about people who kill their spouses because of infidelity, some others because they are not able to manage, So the moment an individual is unable to cope with these normal stresses of life, then the person may be said not to be mentally well. And there are several factors that could lead to someone not being able to cope with the normal stresses of life. Because of our time, let me just quickly run through the third and the fourth. The third is that everybody who is mentally well should be able to work productively and fruitfully. When you set out to do an activity, there has to be results. The moment you carry out certain activities and you're unable to provide results, then you might not be mentally well. And the last is you should be able to contribute to your community. So everything that you do, your work, the Amazons are here, you're doing something because you're doing this because you want to help people help your viewers and all of that. Everything that you should do should be aligned towards helping other people. But in this situation, we find women unable to, so being unable to cope with anger is not a gender, is not gender sensitive.
Joe, I mean, whether the act is justified, whether there are reasons, mental imbalance, the 5 symptoms of DSM, as you call it, there must be consequence for that action. You are a legal practitioner. Perhaps the women who commit this violence and kill their husband in extreme cases don't even know that, legally, there's consequence, there's price to pay for it. Perhaps you want to let us know what the law says, what are the demands of the law for this kind of crime?
Well, Aisha, thank you again for having me. Now, I would want to say first that whatever I posit today should not be taken as an excuse for spousal murder. And the truth is that when you allow a system to reduce your capacity and ability as a human being, you tend to look for options, naturally. Now, with respect to the law, the position of the law is clear. Everybody knows it. The murderer knows it, that when you kill, though you could have excuses, you could have defenses here and there, the result is death. But we also have culpable homicides, we have excusable homicides, we have automatism, we have provocation as defenses. But that for me is not a problem. It's not a problem we are faced with, because we know, and the judge will determine your fate. If you allow yourself to be reduced to the point of killing your husband, it's now between you and then the judge. And then the judgment will be dependent on how the judge views your facts, irrespective of the excuses you posit or present to him or her. But I want to make a point. You see, I agree that violent wives and husband killers, as we now call them, have existed before now. But the truth is that women have become emboldened to violently kill their husband in Nigeria. And if you look at the 3 most discussed cases in Nigeria, the Yewande's case in Ibadan, the Udeme's case in Lekki, the Miriam Sada's case in Abuja. Yeah. Those women were educated enough to know that the penalty for this crime is death. We have a system that demands so much from a wife. We have a system that requires a wife to behave in a particular pattern. We have a system where, of course, we understand the other elements of, the economy, the stress level, the provocation. It happens to both male and female. Yeah. But now the society we live in would allow a man an exit to cool off. He could step out to have a drink. He could step out to hang out with his friends. He could, even in extreme cases, indulge. Now, all of those elements would help him ease out those tensions within the home. But when a woman attempts that, she's tagged. And when she's not able to burn out those stress, she looks at the only exit, murder.
We have to end it here, but the point has been made. We have, ours is to, bring it to the fore, what the issues are. Also make our own views known to you. We bring the experts to, talk to us about it. But the decision really is still yours to make. We cannot make the decision for you. You have been informed, you have been enlightened, you have been educated for as much as we can on this set and on this program right now. But your decision is still yours. Until we see you again next time, I want to say thank you so much, Joe, for coming on the program. Priscilla Benjamin Olaoye.
Thank you so much.
Until we see you again next time, bye-bye.